Today's video is going to show you how to change the ignition switch in a Ford N-Series tractor. This applies to the 9N, the 2N, the 8N, maybe even other Fords. I don't even know. I'm going to have to do some non-standard trickery here with my mic. It's really windy out. I came out here yesterday. It was a windy day. Didn't do any video yesterday because my audio would have been trash. So let's see if I can just tuck this thing in here or something. Hopefully that doesn't sound too awful. I haven't made many videos with the Ford 2N for quite a while. I made a couple videos with it when I first got the thing, got it running. I do need to tell you guys the story of how I got this, the condition it was in, and when I got it running. It's a pretty neat little story, but we'll save that for another day. So I was driving this thing yesterday, and I was running it up the hill here, and all of a sudden, all this smoke started coming out around the sides of the engine. I'm like, we burning oil? What is it? Nope, it was an electrical fire. So a mouse or something was chewing on some of my wires down in here. Let me show you. I don't know if you guys will be able to see or not, but these wires have some bare spots in them. Ah, that one just broke. Anyhow, we're going to pull those out of here. Majority of what's going on here is related to the ignition switch wiring, so no big deal. The ignition switch is right there, by the way. I just happen to have another one. The switch isn't bad, I'm sure, but it does have wiring connected to it. So we're going to get those wires disconnected. So after we get the wiring replaced, we'll see if we can get this thing running again without it catching fire. All right, so you see the switch there. Well, on the back side of it, all that holds that in there is this nut. If you have the same switch as I do, which you probably do, it's a 15/16 inch wrench that's needed. You're just going to back that off of there. And then once you have that off, we just pull the switch and the wiring out this way. Those wires are in rough shape. So on my particular tractor, the black wire from the ignition switch went here on this fuse block. The yellow one, which is still halfway attached, connects there. So that's where your ignition switch connects to. The one other wire that I had in here, because of the whole fiasco, that needs replaced is this one, and it's on the back of the ammeter. I'm going to pull that off of there and make a new one to go in its spot. So here is the old switch again. Here's a new one. I just happen to have this. I've actually owned a couple of these Ford 2N tractors, and I just have spare parts. It's like I order stuff sometimes and don't use it. That's what that should look like. And then this is the wire we're going to be replacing. This would be a pretty simple wire to replace, no big deal there. So we're just going to take this spool of wire that I have here. Going to cut off an equivalent amount to what the original one was made with. Doesn't have to be exact. Going to strip these ends. Put us some new connectors on there to match. We just need for the holes to be the same size and for it to be the appropriate size to fit on this wire. When you push the stripped wire in there, you want for it to basically be at the end of the crimp piece, which is here. Then you're going to use an appropriate crimper for the type of connector you're using. That one's crimped. We're basically just going to do the same thing on the other side. This is going to be just fine, so now we'll get these installed on the tractor. I'm just going to put that on there and tighten it down with a nut. And in the case of mine, this is a 5/16 wrench. That end went up there to the ammeter. This bottom one is going to come down here. So when you get these switches new, there's a nut and a washer that are already on there. You're going to take those off of there, pull it off the wiring, then we'll use those again to fasten it from the backside. Pass those through there. And up here is where we're going to slip that washer and nut over top of the wires, feed them around to the back, and then we're just going to tighten the nut down on the backside. Now I'm just going to pull these wires down to the appropriate spots where they go on the fuse block. Put them on there, get them tightened down with the appropriate nut. So now that with that wiring installed, I'm just going to connect this battery real quickly and make sure that nothing else is frying. As you can see, I've already got the negative cable connected. The positive, I'm just going to make sure there's no sparks. Things are looking promising so far. I realize this isn't fastened down all the way, but I really just kind of want to make sure that we don't have a fire again. The wires are not like hot or anything. Let's see if this thing will start. I guess since we just installed the new switch, I don't necessarily know which way's on or off, so we'll try the other way. Okay, so that's on. This thing never does this. What's the issue? You know what? I just realized I forgot to turn the gas on. It's not happy with me. Had a bad day yesterday when it caught on fire. No smoke. That's a good thing. So in a video way back, after I first got this thing going and running, I did a 12-volt conversion on it, so it's got an alternator on it. If you look at the ammeter, it's currently not charging. That's because to excite these alternators, you got to get it up to a certain RPM. Let me rev it up a second. Now it's charging. After you do the initial excite of the alternator, you can idle it down and it still charges. Things are looking good. It's always a little scary when you have a tractor catch on fire, but upon visual inspection, it was easy to see that those wires were likely the culprit. In fact, they were. So here we are running again. Hope this helps someone out there. I feel like I can never come out here without some type of problem. This thing runs good, doesn't it? This thing sat for 40 years before I got it. It's a good running little Ford. Henry Ford knew what he was doing.